Computers and the internet have changed the way we live and learn. We work, shop, learn, communicate, share pictures, and other information in many ways through our computers and devices. Though these advances offer us many benefits in education, it is important that we know the rules that guide our work and that we model wise digital citizenship for our students. In this video, we will offer a basic understanding of these topics for teachers, administrators, and school staff. FERPA, the Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act, is the federal law that guides student privacy rights in educational settings. Any school accepting federal funds is subject to following FERPA guidelines. The goal of FERPA is to keep student information confidential and prevent school or school officials from sharing personally identifiable information, or PII, to anyone who does not directly have an educational interest in the student. FERPA describes the educational interest as being anyone who is directly involved with education, grading, and/or assessing the student. Parent volunteers need to understand their access to personal student information requires them to keep this information confidential as well. PII includes any information about a student's identity, academics, medical conditions, or anything else that is collected, stored, and communicated by schools or technology vendors on behalf of schools. Some examples of PII includes a student's name, address, names of parents or guardians, date of birth, attendance, grades, disciplinary records, eligibility for school lunch programs, and special needs. It also includes the data created or generated by the student or teacher in the use of technology, such as email accounts or work completed on an educational program or app. FERPA does allow an exception for schools under what is called directory information. However, be cautious. Parents have to be provided notice of directory information, and they have to be allowed to opt out if they wish. FCS has designated the following as directory information. These items are intended to be provided for school newsletters, class directories, school yearbooks, athletic programs, extracurricular programs, and honors presentations. FCS directory information does not cover individual or personal school employees' social media pages. Teachers and staff should never post school pictures of students on their personal social media pages. The directory information exception only applies to school or county-based social media sites. School personnel should regularly check Infinite Campus for parent permission on directory information, as parents can opt out of these items at any time. There are two laws that protect and prevent children from providing PII to websites, apps, or companies. These two laws are the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and the Protection of Pupil Rights Amendment. FERPA restricts student information that school officials provide to others. COPPA and PPRA restricts what information students can provide to others during the school day. COPPA specifically restricts children from providing PII on websites or apps without parent permission until the age of 13. Schools or school officials can consent for parents if the website or app being used is solely utilized in an educational context where PII is collected for the use and benefit of the school or student and for no other commercial purposes. PPRA requires students to notify parents of any aged child about instructional activities in which PII is obtained from students and can be marketed or distributed to others. PPRA also provides parents with the right to inspect these instructional materials and opt their students out of these activities. Teachers and administrators need to carefully check all website and app terms of service agreements. Often websites or apps have one-click accepted features, especially for free applications. Educators need to make sure all utilized sites are in compliance with COPPA and PPRA. One way to be sure of compliance is to use county-approved sites and apps. These options are always best for ensuring student privacy and safety. Responsible use is an expectation for all students, teachers, and staff throughout Forsyth County Schools. By logging into and accessing the FCS network, you agree to be a responsible user. It is the responsibility of all teachers to understand, abide by, and model responsible use for our students. Technology is an integral part of FCS's curriculum across subjects and grades in developmentally appropriate ways, and it is aligned to the competencies listed in the district's learner profile. All users must understand that using digital devices, whether personal or school-owned, and the FCS network is a privilege, and using them according to the responsible use guidelines will keep that privilege. Users commit to the following responsible use guidelines. Use digital devices, networks, and software in school for educational purposes and activities. Keeping my personal information, including home and mobile phone number, mailing address, and user password, and that of others, private. Showing respect for myself and others when using technology, including social media. Giving acknowledgement to others for their ideas and work. Reporting inappropriate use of technology immediately. Number 1. Practice secure usage of FCS usernames and passwords. Best practice is to not use FCS username and passwords on external sites that are not authenticated automatically through single sign-on applications such as ClassLink. That means if a school, department, or teacher purchases a web-based platform, teacher and student passwords that are established on that platform should not be the same as the student's regular usernames and passwords. Number 2, you should always supervise students using district technology or bring your own technology devices. Number 3, it is important to remember that all use of district-provided technology, equipment, or services, including email and phones, should be school-related and not for personal reasons. This includes promoting, campaigning, selling, or marketing using a school's distribution list or using school email in that fashion. Additionally, do not use your school email for personal distribution lists such as those for social media, shopping, or personal banking. As a reminder, staff should not communicate with students through personal email or phones. If you have questions, please contact your school administration or ITS. Number 4 is practicing fair use. Fair use is one means by which copyrighted works can be used under certain circumstances without first obtaining permission of the copyright holder. Fair use is limited but flexible and is commonly used in educational settings. The fair use provision of copyright law isn't a simple yes or no. There are 4 factors you should use to evaluate whether a use qualifies as fair. First, concerning purpose and character. Does it have a nonprofit educational purpose? Second, concerning the nature of the copyrighted work. Questions to ask are, what kind of material do you want to use? Is it fiction or nonfiction? Is it published or unpublished? Concerning the amount used, are you using a small portion of the copyrighted work? And finally, concerning market effect, will your use deprive the author from making money? Number 5. One of the key parts of the responsible use policy is to show respect for myself and others when using technology, including social media. You should always assume anyone can see your social media accounts and activity, even if you have your privacy settings set to private. The most important thing to ask yourself concerning personal social media is, would you mind if the information appeared on the front page of the local newspaper? Some best practices of personal social media do's include knowing the privacy settings of every channel you use, realizing that there's no such thing as a truly private post, learning the code of ethics, keeping work and play separate, monitoring your own internet presence, and looking out for others. And now, some personal social media don'ts. Don't use your work email and/or phone number. Don't vent online. Don't post anything related to a student or a coworker, including student photos or videos. Don't accept an online relationship with anyone who you do not know offline. Don't join groups or like posts that may be considered unprofessional or inappropriate. It is recommended that you periodically review the privacy settings for your social media accounts. A list of popular sites and URLs to assist you are listed on this slide. FCS recognizes the need for a well-rounded digital citizenship curriculum. Several teachers, counselors, and leaders met last year to discuss specific needs for broadening our transition program from elementary to middle and from middle to high school. The need for additional training in digital citizenship for our students was one of the leading priorities. This includes internet safety, privacy and security, relationships and communication, cyberbullying and digital drama, digital footprints and reputation, self-image and identity, information literacy, and creative credit and copyright. We look forward to working with schools, administrators, teachers, and students as we embark on this initiative. As with all communication, it is important to create an atmosphere of trust and individual accountability, keeping in mind that information produced by FCS employees is a reflection on the entire district. We thank you for taking the time to view this video and hope you have a wonderful school year.